Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. We often think that completely altering our life's trajectory requires some massive, sweeping action, right? But the data actually suggests the exact opposite. So, welcome to our deep dive into the 1% rule, the power of compounding progress. Today, we're looking at how dropping the expectation of an instant miracle and replacing it with just a microscopic daily shift can literally rewrite your entire future.
Imagine two identical individuals standing at the exact same starting line. They've got the same education, the exact same baseline opportunities. Fast forward 10 years later, and one is financially successful, healthy, and confident. And the other? Well, they're just kinda stuck. Did the first person win the lottery? No, not exactly. The massive gap between them was simply one person getting 1% better every single day. That tiny, almost invisible difference? It changed absolutely everything.
Now, this highlights what we call the contrast principle, and it really exposes the trap of immediate gratification. As humans, we dramatically overestimate what we can accomplish in a single month, but we severely underestimate what we can do in 5 years. We all want that overnight success, right? The six-pack in 30 days or the massive bank account by next year. And honestly, that impatience causes us to miss the big picture entirely. Life just doesn't work that way.
To really anchor this abstract idea of tiny improvements, think about an airplane flying from Los Angeles to New York. If the pilot changes the navigational course by just 1 single degree, it feels like absolutely nothing in the moment. The passengers wouldn't even feel the shift. But over time and distance, that plane will eventually land hundreds of miles away from its intended destination. A tiny 1-degree shift creates a massive physical difference in where you end up. And you know what? Your daily habits work exactly the same way.
Which brings us to Section 1, the blueprint in action, the story of Jake.
Let's take Jake as an example. He's just an ordinary guy who was totally stressed and living paycheck to paycheck at 30. He decided to abandon those huge, overwhelming resolutions and just stick to the 1% rule. His daily habits became incredibly simple. Read 10 pages, walk 20 minutes, save $5, scroll just a little less on social media. When you drop the expectation of an instant transformation, these micro-actions become totally doable. In the moment, they feel almost insignificant.
And sure enough, in the first few weeks, exactly as you might expect, nothing dramatic happened at all. Months passed, still no miracle. But fast forward to year 1, Jake had read dozens of books, he lost weight, and he actually built a real savings cushion. Jump to year 5, and his life looked completely different. And it wasn't because of one giant life-altering decision. It was through the accumulation of thousands of incredibly small, manageable decisions.
Moving right along to Section 2, the illusion of stagnation. Why most people quit. I mean, if it's really this simple, why doesn't everyone do it? Well, it usually comes down to this illusion of stagnation. People go to the gym for 2 weeks, they get sore, they see zero difference in the mirror, and they just stop. Or they save money for a month, feel restricted, and give up. They fall victim to this false belief that just because they can't see the progress isn't happening.
But the truth is, success often grows invisibly before it becomes visible. Think of a planted seed. For weeks after you put it in the dirt, literally nothing appears above ground. But the roots? They are doing the heavy lifting deep underground long before a green sprout ever breaks the surface. Your habits work exactly the same way. The people who actually win understand this deeply. They trust the process while the roots are still growing.
And this brings us to the underlying math behind all of this, the compound effect. It's basically the principle where small improvements repeated daily accumulate exponentially. Wealthy investors absolutely love compound interest because they know money grows upon money. But the crucial point here is that this exact same compounding math applies to every single area of human development.
Think about the different areas of your own life: knowledge, skills, relationships, confidence, and discipline. All of these compound exactly like money does. An extra page read feeds your knowledge. One workout builds your discipline. Investing just a little time in a relationship builds your network. Over time, these actions merge and compound upon themselves to generate extraordinary overall growth. One small action seems completely insignificant, right until it builds into an undeniable advantage.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, your 1% reality, applying the rule.
So, how do we get out of the theory and into practice? Look, your future is being built right in this very moment, not by your biggest, boldest decisions, but by your smallest daily habits. The life you want just requires becoming slightly better today than you were yesterday, just 1%. Let's look at how accessible this really is. Finances. You don't need to double your income today, just save a little more each month. Health. You don't have to run a marathon tomorrow, just walk a little farther today than you did yesterday. Career. Make it a goal to learn just one new skill every week. The ultimate goal here is steady progress, absolutely not flawless perfection.
Because at the end of the day, consistency creates legendary transformation. We so often believe highly successful people are just magically different from you or me. But honestly, usually they're simply more consistent. They keep showing up and executing their 1%, even when their motivation totally vanishes. And even when they are stuck in that frustrating invisible phase where the results just haven't broken the surface yet. They understand that small actions create massive outcomes.
Which leads us with a pretty stark, highly personal question to wrap up this explainer. Because if you improve by just 1% every single day, you simply won't be the same person a year from now. You'll be stronger, smarter, and far more confident. So, what is the one thing you can improve by 1% today? Think about your immediate next step. Remember, it doesn't take a massive overnight overhaul. Small steps, big results, legendary transformation. Go out and take that 1% step today.